So I'm Valerie McDowell. Welcome to Write It Out Wednesday. This is a day where we put you at the top of your list to make sure that you are dealing with your writing goals, getting your writing done, and just dealing with all things related to your writing. So for those that don't know me, I'm Valerie McDowell, and I work with writing and time challenge clients, helping them get their stories told and their books published. And since 2019, I've helped 25 plus people go from idea to publish, and we have a number in our online class. So are you next? Let's get you going. Now, I wanted to jump on here today because I wanted to kind of get something I've been seeing happening, that a lot of people that say they want to write a book, they get started and then they just back off. They kind of change their minds and it's like, what's going on? And so I just wanted to give you a few strategies on how to get out of your own way so you can write that book. Because sometimes we are the culprit in some of these endeavors, and we just want to make sure that you've got some strategies at least, because sometimes, it's just things that's getting in the way and you don't know really how to deal with them. So I wanted to just share with you just a few strategies, okay? Particularly because we're at the end of August, almost the end of the summer, kids are already going back to school. Hey, B Sweets, good to see you, dear. So lots of people going back to school, going back to office environments, in person, all kinds of things going on. And then there are great people that's retired and living the life, right? But I just wanted to kind of talk to you about, how do we get out of our own way? Because a lot of times, we're the culprit, like I was saying. And then sometimes when that happens, when you kind of feel stuck, you don't know how to move forward, in these goals, in these dreams that you have. Okay. And I know for some people that maybe you've taken that leap, but you don't feel you're ready. You got this major product going on. You're trying to get your health together. And like I said, you're back to work, back to school, got kids, got grandkids, all kinds of things are going on. And your initial excitement for writing that book has kind of waned down. It's a little wearing off. And so you're feeling a little stuck, a little confused sometimes even overwhelmed by how to keep progressing. And when we look at everything going on, we just want to throw in the towel. So I get it. But don't give up, okay? Don't give up yet. Let me give you 5 strategies how to get out of your own way and keep moving forward with your book, okay? So number 1, how about we just take a moment to reflect? Sometimes we just need to hit pause, and just think about, what's going on. Because sometimes we try to force things when we really need some ease and grace in our life, like things can come easy. Everything doesn't have to be hard. We don't have to fight for everything we want. We don't have to push and prod our way to get it. Sometimes we just need to take a step back, that you need to sometimes think about, have a different way of thinking, I'll put it, think about your current situation in a different way. That sometimes I know when I work with clients who one of the things they say is they feel stuck, it's like, okay, well, where are you? What got you there and what do you really want? Like, how did you get to this stuck place? What's going on? What are the things and why do you feel stuck? Because sometimes when you take a step back and you start you look at your life, what's going on, you look at your career, any challenges, and you look at it from a distance, then you can get a different perspective. Because sometimes when you're right in the midst of stuff, you can't really see all the things that's going on, or you don't have a different perspective other than I'm in it. But if you kind of look beyond or get above it, as I say, get above the noise, sometimes I've heard someone say, then that will give you a better perspective sometimes on what's going on, because you need to see it, I'll say, with new eyes. Okay. You need to kind of see, and then when you do that, what do you notice? Are you able to see a different route? Like if you were to, fly over, you're stuck in a forest, but if you were to get in an airplane and rise above, you're like, oh, that's the way out. Like when people go to those maze fields and they get lost, and it's because they can't see above the maze. They can only see right or left, turn or go straight, and that's sometimes where we are. We can't see above it. And it's usually because we're so caught up in the midst of everything that sometimes we have to step back and get a little perspective. And it's like zooming out. Like many people are totally familiar with Zoom now. We've been zooming in for well over a year. So sometimes you got to zoom out, and just observe. Imagine you're a fly on a wall watching your life. What would that fly see? How people's like, oh my God, I wish I could be a fly on the wall. Okay, put yourself in that position. What could you see? What could you see? Okay, so that's number one. Take a moment to reflect. All right. So number two, on that same vein, let's get to the root. And I've been sharing this with certain people. I've done this, and it's like, get to the root, get to the why. Okay, get to the lowest common denominator. What is really going on and why? Did you know the minute you give a problem a name, you are on your way to solving it, because every problem has a solution. Okay? So a well-defined problem presents its own solution. For example, there's a big difference between I don't have anything to write versus I have far too many ideas and I don't know where to start. I'm becoming overwhelmed because of all the ideas. So not having anything to write versus I don't know how to organize all of these multiple ideas. That's like saying I don't have anything to wear when you have 4 closets packed full. It's like you don't know what you would like to wear maybe right now, but it's not that you don't have anything to wear. So it's the same thing with your writing. It's like, it's not that you don't have ideas or you don't have anything to write. It's like processing. What do I need to put on this page? What goes here? What goes in this chapter versus another chapter? So again, it's about perspective. It's about coming back, taking a step back, getting to the root. It's like if that's not what you want to write, then what do you want to write? Okay. Something else that can happen. I feel stuck because I'm worried about what people were going to say about what I write. It's like, okay, do you have to write that? Is there a different way to write that? Can you change some aspects of that story so it removes that part that somebody may recognize, I mean, a lot of projects, that movies you see that might be based on someone's real life, they may add some, poetic or artistic license in it just to either make the story either a little more better or they need to change a few things, because sometimes the real stuff you can't really put it out there and you might need to do a lesser version of that or just change it completely. But if it's too much and you're worried that much, take it out. I'm sure you have more stories that you can share in that. Okay. So, but the thing is, once you name what that thing is, ask yourself, what's getting in the way? When you answer, it's like the next question is, okay, anything else? Anything else? Do you keep doing that, or you're like, why is that a problem? And you come up with a reason. And then you say why again, and then another why, and it's just like all of these things will help you get to that solution. It will help you get to the root. Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3, reconnect to your purpose for writing. Like all this talk about writing a book, you have a reason why. Okay. There was a reason why you wanted to do that. So feeling stuck or getting lost, is usually because you've lost sight of the big picture and what's important. You've lost your why. Okay. So why did you want to write the book in the first place? What were the reasons, the values, the insight, the inspiration that made you want to share your story? Why is writing your book important? What do you want to achieve? Is it a goal? Is it for legacy? Is it to tell your story? Because many people don't know it. So going back to reconnecting back to your purpose, to your why you want to do this. Okay. So sometimes we have to, again, that stepping back, that reflecting, that's taking a moment to get back to the root, reconnecting to your purpose. Like all of these things help you kind of gain some more clarity and help you process what's going on inside of you so that you can move forward in writing your book. Okay. So that's 3. All right. So number 1 was like, take time to reflect. Number 2 is get to the root. Number 3 is reconnect to your purpose for writing your book. And number 4 is options. Okay. When you start brainstorming and think about all the other stuff, like if you were that person that's like, I've got 50 ideas, I don't know where to start. Okay, well, let's go through them. This is where you can do mind mapping or brainstorming, where you put all those ideas out. Let's get them all out on the paper. Let's get them all out on the page and see, where do they take you? If you pick this topic, for instance, what road does it lead you down? If you pick the story about your family, how will that get you? Where would you go with that? Versus if you do another story. So being able to see your way, like when you have options, it's like you can think a little clearer when it's like when you don't just have, it's either this or that. Like when there are no options, you're just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't like either one might be what you're saying. So if sometimes the options are the things that's hindering you, can you expand them? Maybe you're not looking at all the options. Maybe you're looking at what you think or what you may normally do or feel are the options that are available to you. But sometimes that reflecting, that pulling back, that reconnecting, hey, Stephanie, good to see you. So we're in here talking about how to, reconnect, get that book back when you're feeling stuck, when things are getting in the way. It's like, what's blocking you from moving forward in that book? And I know you've been there because you are a published author. So you had to get over some of those options, some of those things that were getting in the way. And like I was saying, sometimes we see only one way out of something when there are many ways or potentials to manage all that's going on, And so the thing is, it's not about deciding on the one right thing or the one right choice, but allowing yourself the creativity to think about all the options. It's like, well, I can do this and that. It doesn't have to be either or. It can be but and. It's like, I can do this and then I can do that. Maybe not all at the same time, which is sometimes where we kind of get stuck or overwhelmed because we're trying to do too many things at the same time. But if we just say, well, okay, first I'll do this. Like, there's a process even with getting your book done. First we have to write it, but while we're writing, I could be working on your cover, but we can't lay out your book until it's written. So some things can happen simultaneously, but other things need to happen in an order, so we can't finish the book until we have it written and laid out. We can't publish it then. So, what are the other options? What are some other things can you do? Can you get your testimonial? Can you get your bio done? Can you take some professional photos? Are you putting yourself on the cover? Stephanie put herself on the cover. She had some professional photos done. So those are things you can do in the meantime to kind of reconnect and remember your purpose. And then also they're very good for marketing purposes. You can use them in many different ways. So, a lot of times, again, people feel stuck because they're looking for the one right answer when there could be multiple ones. It might be the way you used to think. But, you're in a new season. It's a new era. Oh, my God, we got to learn new things now, okay? We can't do things the old way sometimes because life is constantly changing. And so being able to change with it, being able to be flexible is really what I'm trying to say. That lots of good old stuff works and lots of good new stuff works. But just being flexible, whether or not you need the old stuff, the new stuff, or something in between will really help you get moving forward better. And then a fifth thing and a final thing I'll say for tonight is that take a brain break. Sometimes we just need to, woosah, let some of that stuff just out and go and just relax, that a lot of times, it's like your brain is on 24/7. It's constantly, many people don't sleep well because their brain doesn't shut down. It might take an hour or two before they're finally like, okay, I'm not thinking about something. I'm not thinking about tomorrow. I'm not thinking about what I didn't get done today. I'm not thinking about something in the house I need to do. I'm not thinking about a box I need to unpack or, clothes I need to drop off at the dry cleaners or got to get the car repaired, whatever. Let your brain relax. Because sometimes all that noise inside, like there's a lot of noise outside, but there's also noise inside that can get in the way of you moving forward and getting your book done. And so those were my 5 strategies for you guys tonight on how to get out of your own way so you can write your book. So these were all things that get in the way of you writing your book. And let's just go through them one more time. So number 5, you need time to reflect. Okay. Number 1, you need time to reflect. Number 2, you need to get to the root. What's in the way? What are the issues going on? Number 3, you need to reconnect to the purpose, the reason, your why. Why do you want to write this book? Okay. Getting back to that will bring you back the motivation, will bring you back the reason. Is it for legacy? Is it you have a goal? You said, I'm going to write this book. It's been 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, whatever you said, let's accomplish that purpose. Number 4, you always have options. Okay. We limit ourselves sometimes because it might be, the spaces that we're inhabiting or the people we're around, don't think bigger than the people in that room, or the experiences that you had. But we live in a wide, vast world, and the internet and travel has made it that much more bigger. And so, there are many options. You just sometimes have to ask. So, there's a great scripture that says you have not because you ask not. So sometimes we just need to ask for what we need. And then finally, take a brain break. That sometimes you just need a break. It's been an incredible year, year 2, and we're still in the midst of many things here and around the world. And so it's a lot for some people. and not being able to get a break, being on all the time isn't good for anyone. Just like your phone charger, it needs to be recharged, and you need to be recharged too. So pulling away for a vacation, pulling away just to kind of sit and look at the sky, look at the grass. I was watching birds on my lawn this morning. It was just like, and it reminded me of the song Jira, look at the birds, like how he's thinking about the birds, and they're not worried about anything. They expect to find some food somewhere, and sometimes we have to just relax and go with the flow, so with some ease and grace. And then that way, it'll happen. It'll start coming. Those ideas will start germinating, and then the things that you need will just all start rising to the surface. Because sometimes you have so much stuff and it's pushing down all the great ideas that are inside of you that you just need to kind of pull back a little bit so that they can come to the surface. So I'm Valerie McDowell. Those are my 5 strategies for you to how to get out of your own way so you can get forward and get moving on your book. So I'll see you on the next Write It Out Wednesday. Until then, keep writing. I'll see you soon. Bye.